Welcome, friends, to the Christian O'Connell Show podcast.
At the third stroke, it will be
I used to think they were idiots, and then I went on to marry one later.
I never liked whizzes as much as the next point.
The Christian O'Connell Show, Gold 104.3.
Sometimes I want to hear that, but I don't know if I feel proud or just like, Jesus, is that why I wasn't there when the kids were waking up in the morning to come in and do that? That's really what the world needed from me, was it? All right, Thursday morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jackie boy.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Patsy.
Morning.
Great news. What's going on with the fact that the Olympics is coming to Brisbane 2032, and yet it feels like the rest of the world all went, let them bid for it.
Yeah.
Let them get it. Normally, right, I remember when London was bidding to have it for 2012. It was really tightly contested. It was like a real celebration.
Yep.
And they'd wheeled out all the guns to get it. David Beckham was part of the bid committee. And Boris was leading it then. And it was up against like New York, and I think Brazil, and all these other great capital cities. Here it just feels like you just got it.
Yeah, we did the same thing for the World Cup. We had Hugh Jackman ads,
Yes.
Nicole Kidman. We put a bunch of money into pitching for the World Cup and didn't get it because there were so many nations going
How many
for it.
calls do you think a week Kidman and Jackman get? I saw a video yesterday of Hugh Jackman saying good luck to the green and gold. And not just that, it was like the video was really rushed. It was he was, for some reason, he was in the back of like an SUV, like a normal, like I would have, a basic white Dan. But he was in the back seat and it looked like an Uber driver just turned around and said, can you just do a quick video?
They must have gone,
Team Australia.
Hey, we're not the only Australians.
Yes.
There's more.
Yes.
Ask Hemo.
Yes, come on. Hemo, Thor, can you take some of the heavy lifting off me and Kidman?
But so, does anyone know why the Brisbane Olympics were run unopposed? Why didn't we have anybody else going
I'm
for
suspicious. It's great news, but it's the fact that normally the rest of the world all wants in on this giant mega cash cow. The whole world is watching your city.
And I love that we went unopposed as well to the Olympic Committee, and then it was still a vote of 72 to 5.
Who are the
that
other
Brisbane
people? I
should
didn't
get
know
it.
who you were up against. Who are you? I feel like it's a Stephen Bradbury moment for Australia again, where the other countries have kind of fallen out. Something's happened to them, and they've just gone, yeah, okay, Australia, you can have it again. Patsy, how are you coping then? So you're over a week now. Patsy's down the line.
Yep.
She's doing the news from home because she's a tier 1 infection site.
Not me, personally, but we've had, no, we're all right. We got the call from the health department yesterday. The all-important phone call. They call you
Oh,
just
is it
to
the
check
chickens
you're
again
doing
have
the
broken
right
out the
thing.
coop? What is it?
To check you're doing the right thing. And, yes.
Does anyone answer? No, I've got to be honest. Thank God you called.
That's right.
I have
Who
been
are they
reckless.
catching out? Have you been inside or outside? Oh, outside. No, inside. Ah, gotcha.
But Chris made a good point. We no longer have a landline. We got rid of it ages ago, so we only have our mobile numbers. And Chris said, well, how do they know that you're at home when they ring you? Like, have they got some sort of tracking device?
I thought they were doing door knocks for some people.
Yeah.
I
They're
guess they
doing
can't do
those as
15,000
well.
people.
Yeah, they're doing random ones. A couple of the school mums got those yesterday. So, yeah.
Do you know
but
what
we're
they should
doing the
do?
right thing.
Because actually, I think, Patsy, is it true? I think you said it in news the other day. 15,000 people at least in Melbourne are in your situation where they're isolated, right? Because there's
Yes.
so many exposure sites. Why can't they hire like the paper boys and stuff like to do the door knocking? They're near the doors anyway. Because otherwise, employing 15,000, the police, they haven't got the resources. Paper boys are out there every day. Knock on the door.
When's the last time you saw a paper boy?
You're right. They don't get out that car
for
anymore.
30 years.
Well, it's not just that, right? All it is now is adults in cars doing the old launching thing.
They throw it from the car window.
Yeah.
I tell you what, as part, they have these new events at the Olympics. When it's Brisbane in 2032, Australia would clear up solid goals if there was some kind of that throwing thing with the newspaper onto someone's front lawn. It should be an Olympic event for Brisbane.
The Christian O'Connell Show podcast.
We've actually got Dave on the line. I think he's in the middle of his paper round right now. We're just talking about, what was I talking about paper rounds? Oh, yeah, getting the paper boys and the paper men, the paper girls of Melbourne to do the knocking on the door to check that people who are isolating stay isolating. Because there's thousands of you, like Patsy, doing this right now. And obviously they've got the resources to check on everyone door to door. But the people that are up and around anyway right now, the paper boys and the paper girls, they could be doing it. Dave!
Go
Good morning, Christian. How are you?
I'm good, mate. So, how many newspapers have you thrown through the air already this morning in the general direction of someone's porch?
Probably so far about 120, 130 already.
You've done 100. I'll tell you what. We need to do a competition where we find Melbourne's golden arm. Who's got the best accuracy at lobbing that newspaper? Because it has to clear the car often, doesn't it? If it's on the left-hand side as they're driving down, it sounds like he's launching one now. To go over, you could have a pretty good.
Right now.
Hello.
Oh yeah, I just threw one right there.
Wow, that's a casualness he's gone with it. Dave, what do you think? I think it should be an Olympic event when it comes to Brisbane 2032. Launching the newspaper, Australia would clear up, no?
Oh, of course. I reckon I'd be a shoo-in for gold.
What percentage, Dave, of the newspapers do you land on the front porch?
It's wildly hit and miss. Sometimes it's just on the pavement.
Yeah, so mostly up the driveway.
Yeah.
Up the driveway. You come get it. Mostly. Do you hear that keyword there? Mostly up the... Imagine if Australia posted that. They just threw it somewhere near your house. They start throwing it in the air. Yeah, somewhere. It's in a hedge.
Yeah, but they go along the footpath. I'm not allowed to drive on the footpath.
No, for obvious reasons. Well, you've got a car. It's as opposed to a little bike. Those ways. All right, Dave, we'll let you go because we can barely hear you. Anywho, back to the show. All right, let's hear from Chris, the Werribee Love God, his secret diary, life in captivity with our Patsy.
Morning, Christian. Well, things are descending pretty quickly here on work day 3 of isolation together. My alarm went off at 7 a.m. today because Petrina had set it, and I woke to a to-do list. Now, I'm reading from this. This is what it says. Hey, Dale, could you please bring me a coffee as soon as you read this? Item number 2. There are eggs in the other fridge. Can you please bring me an egg on toast at 8:15? Third point, please be quiet. Love you. Now, she seems to have forgotten that I have a job too. So as I'm reading this list out, my inner monologue was that of Basil Fawlty. And I felt like Manuel. So anyway, I executed the tasks and things were all okay. But let's see if things pick up on day 4.
Honestly, when you hear that, it feels like someone's sort of behind enemy lines, doesn't it? In a sort of regime, a reign of terror. What's with the 8:15 egg on toast? I was trying to think what we do on the show at 8:15. Are we in an outbreak, or why is that your key moment?
It's when most of my news is set and ready, and I can actually stop down and have something to eat. For the day.
News is always happening.
Yeah.
Why at 8:15 it's like, well, that's the news for today.
Yeah.
Not give up, Jack. Just I'm on top of my morning.
The news is set. I beg to disagree. I think there's one thing that's very unset in life. It's the news. It's constant.
Oh, no. Hardly
relentless.
anything happens after 8 a.m.
Oh, what do you mean, news flash? Another one of these press conferences with Dan
eating a boiled egg.
For God's sake, 8:15. Can't a newsreader eat an egg?
The Christian O'Connell Show podcast.
Hey, Patsy, in Chris's secret diary there, on his 3rd day in captivity, I heard mention of the other fridge. It's just in the garage. We've got this other old, 1980s, one of those little fridges, the little door, and it's in the garage. And my wife runs both the fridges, and I don't really know what the ruling is, what goes in the other fridge. I mainly use it to store my beer in, and then every once in a while I open it. It's all been thrown out. My wife goes, it's not just a beer fridge. But I don't know what goes in there and when, and occasionally I'll just be summoned to the kitchen going, you put this in the other fridge. And I'm like, wow. Is it being demoted? Because it's always like a lone pack of 6 eggs or some cheese, and I feel like they're crying. I said, no, my brothers and sisters are in the big fridge, the prime fridge, the big prime time one.
It is. It's like playing in the 1s or the 2s in footy. It's like,
sorry.
Had a couple of bad weeks. Back to the 2s.
You've got to go to the VFL fridge. In you go.
Late to the party.
Late to the party, the home on the show for all your amazing emails. Christian at christianoconnell.com.au. Anything you've heard us talk about on the show, you can email in about. Hi, Christian. My name is Charlie, and I listen to your show from Sydney. Hello to all of our Sydney listeners. I hope you're bearing up well. I love your and Jack's stuff. I share all your jokes with my family. I am now 12 years old. It's a nice update,
That's lovely.
isn't it? Young Charlie there in Sydney. Thanks, Charlie. I've been listening to your show now for a year. When I was about 7, what I like about this is a pro. At the age of 12, he's got chops, right? Straight into the business. A little bit up top for you and I to make us feel good. Bang!
Now here's what I need.
And here's what I'm really emailing. Let me just drop some funnies on you to raise the show. When I was about 7, flashback to when Charlie was 7, guys, I went to my nanny's wedding and the groom fainted just before. And the family/wedding staff had to revive him. I didn't know any of these words at 12. Is this really a 12-year-old? Do you think it's just one of our grown-up listeners trying to get a prize?
He reads it if they're a young, if they're a young listener.
They'll be whole glut now. I'm 3 months old. Oh, send them a lidless stein. When Charlie boy, he's 12 now, by the way. When I was about 7, and I went back to my nanny's wedding, and the groom fainted just before, and the family/wedding staff had to revive him with a can of simple Diet Coke! ! As an added dilemma. He's a very mature man. As an added dilemma, he forgot the wedding ring as well. This is an ongoing joke in my family, and every time we bring it up, we laugh. Big shout out to everyone on your team who is responsible for making me laugh every day. You and the team are a big influence in my life. Hey, listen, Charlie, word of warning. Do not use this show as an influence.
Find better mentors.
This is a lighthouse, not warning you from the rocks. It's going to crash you into the rocks. We are no one's influence. Charlie, please stop.
There's still time for you, Charlie.
God, Charlie, please. You're still only 12. Come on, Charlie. Give up on the show. Kind regards, Charlie. What a lovely sign of. Charlie, we're going to send you a Liechtenstein, okay, for Ribena and cordial, nothing stronger, please, Charlie. This is from Carol. This came from yesterday's show. We're doing the Wednesday week claim to fame. Christian, my week claim to fame is that I lived in Devonish Road. Do you remember we heard this road mentioned yesterday?
No, Devonish Road.
No.
The next name you'll hear. Lived in Devonish Road for about 12 months in the 80s. Apparently, this is where Hollywood stuntman Brad Allen grew up. Brad Allen was the star of yesterday's show. We had 2 calls about the Hollywood stuntman to Jackie Chan. He's been in loads of movies like Avatar and Rush Hour and
the only Caucasian to be in Jackie Chan's stuntman group.
Yeah. This comes from Carol, and this is ahead of what we're going to be doing a bit later on this morning. 2 days ago, we tried something at 3 Topic Tuesday where I just said doors and asked you if you had any story to do with doors. Today, we want to know, was that a one-off? Because we had so many funny stories about doors. Anything to do with trap behind doors, breaking doors, side doors. We're thinking about doing it with windows this morning. This is an early little party about windows. This comes from Carol. Christian, when I was about 13, we lived on the Gold Coast. One day, my friend and I swapped bikes. I lost control coming down a hill. Another potential, hills. Right. How many accidents did you have as a kid going down a hill? Me and my mates would just look for hills.
Hills were huge when you were a kid.
Yeah. Hills were, every day on my BMX bike, we'd go looking for a new hill, like one being built overnight. Has there been an earthquake in England with some new topography? Hills were going on top of it and then just hurtling down, pedal, freewheeling down. We used to play a game called Coward, where the first person to lose put their brakes on. You go, coward, he's using his brakes. you go under the car and you get flattened like a hero.
We did a similar thing with skateboards. I actually remember Mum and Dad driving me to basketball match out in Eltham, and I remember thinking, wow, they've got great hills out here. Yeah. Imagine I could bring my skateboard to Eltham.
I'm going to develop my own app today, right? Hills
of Melbourne.
Rate and review. Anyway, one day my friend and I swapped bikes and we lost control coming down a hill and I crashed through a restaurant window. This is what happens if you're going to go hurtling down a hill. The hippie owner picked me up and I went home. After picking the glass out of my back, my dad went back to the restaurant owner to apologise. This is incredible, isn't it? I think the owner was stoned at the time because all he kept saying was, hey man, it's cool, man. Hey man, it's cool. I avoided that restaurant after that. It's not like you had a bad meal, Mandy. They broke your fall with their plate glass window. I hope you avoid it just not careering through it on your bike. So yeah, in an hour's time, we'll be doing the one-word phoner of Windows. If you ever got an email for the show, and if you want to get in with, definitely next week. Should we already bank hills?
Windows this week, hills next week.
Already I'm looking forward to next week's show just to get into hills. You can email me, christian@christianoconnell.com.au.
The Christian O'Connell Show Podcast.
Sadly, because of the way of Melbourne right now in lockdown, some of our rival breakfast shows, are not giving away such big prizes because there's less people around.
Yep.
We think that's abhorrent. I think it's a horrible way to treat people who listen to the show. Jack's brought in a giant tap to give away as a prize today. And
What?
it literally is. I mean, giant tap. It is liken it, Patsy, I can only liken it to an industrial hose. What kitchen? Maybe the Savoy Hotel in London or something like that. Or Buckingham Palace. I reckon the Queen and only the Queen and the Shah of Persia has got such an ornate, oversized tap.
I bought this online, and the
It's
photo.
just opened up. I actually thought it's in a case that would house a guitar. I actually thought you bought your guitar in today, David Brent.
The tap online looked like a regular sized tap. And it was a great part.
But it wasn't to scale, just because
they didn't put a human next to it and go, oh, it's the size of a human. This, even in a commercial kitchen,
It's too
would be
big.
oversized.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. It looks like some kind of hose you'd wash an animal with at the zoo.
I noticed even like to hold it up. Jack, you're a strong lad now. Even Jack has got to sort of step like a core workout to hold it upright. It's so big. It looks like a strange sports trophy. He's the winner of the Tour de France. Oh, he's won the highly coveted silver tap.
It's enormous. So last week, remember, I had to drive down and get a white sink from Geelong because apparently white sinks are rare.
And again,
now.
what a flex. We're not like you guys. We live a very, very wild lifestyle.
So the other thing I was in charge with over the week was get a tap. Bianca wanted one of the ones where you could move it around like a hose and maneuver it while you're washing stuff.
I'm glad that your wife gives you what I think the impossible tasks like that. They always make out they do the really tricky stuff. They give stuff like that because that actually is really hard. That's like finding Cinderella's slipper. How do you know the right tap to get?
Well, because you see the photos online and it looks like one of the ones with the hose.
It looks a tap.
Yeah. What it doesn't say is that when it comes, it's really over 1.5 meters long.
Yeah, that's
So-
in total, that's almost like 4.5, 5 foot, this mega tap.
So I have... Oh, the other thing is, because it was dirt cheap and unbranded, I can't return it. So I've bought it in today. We will be getting another tap. Bianca is now taking...
How much did you pay for that?
It was $77 plus $20 delivery, $22, $99 in total. So I thought a bargain price for a tap with a
But
hose.
I don't know what the market price is for a tap. How do you know?
It just seemed like a pretty good price, didn't it? Like, it's got all its tap bits. It's got all the tubes. It's got the...
Now, we should just say, this is one of those sort of, what are they called? Flexi hosey taps. You know, the ones where you pull it along and I'll use it over here and then I can move it over there and spray a bit, yeah?
That's what I call it.
A flexi tap.
Just a movable hose tap.
Also, I'm just saying, if anyone's looking to set up a hairdressers, they have them.
So I have been generous enough to come. I thought my first idea was I'll come and sell it on the show, see if anybody wants to buy it for a discount.
We've been through this before when you sold your
I
ute
thought, you know what?
to a listener who then returned it 2 days later. We cannot go back to you taking money from the listeners.
So you know what? I will be giving this away for free.
You're like Bill
$99
Gates.
worth
You are
of
like
tap.
the Bill Gates of this show, aren't you? Benevolent.
You'll just need a high ceiling to install it in your house.
And a massive
It's
kitchen.
enormous. Who wants an enormous kitchen tap? But it is a lovely tap.
Beautiful, spotless, brand new, unbranded, no returns.
No return. Can't give it back.
This is the Christian O'Connell Show podcast.
Maybe this is a sign of the times. In fifth lockdown, anything goes. We're giving away a giant tap. It's not even come from like sales where they go, hey, listen, client really wants to give away this tap and they're paying a lot of money. Jack got a mega sink last week.
No, well, the sink's a normal size.
Oh, right, okay. It's just I thought you were just getting in
No,
like a
everything's
giant
not big.
house or something.
And then I wanted a normal size tap, bought it online. From the photo, it looked like what I wanted. It came, and it's 1.5 meters long. It's huge. I guess it would only really make sense in some industrial commercial kitchen. It's too big for our house, so now Bianca is in charge of getting the new tap, and this one has
You've
to
been
go.
moved off the project.
I've been moved off the
you've
project.
been sacked, Jack.
No, there's nothing worse.
Can't be trusted.
Nothing. I didn't realise you kept that bit quiet. Oh, I hate it when they do that. I do it myself. Those are actually quite straightforward and get flippy. Gonna get tap right. No, I'll do it. Add it to my ever-long to-do list.
Yes.
So now I've got a giant tap. It's a great tap, beautiful brushed chrome, and it's a hose tap, so you can use the nozzle in any direction you want. Wash stuff.
I don't know
out
if you're
of
aware,
cereal
but we're on the radio right now. He's waving it around just to. I'm not buying it. I tell you what, if Robert Innes is looking for someone on the sales floor, a new trainee, we've just discovered him. Jack posted the new salesman on the floor.
Just trying to say it's a great tap. Unfortunately, an oversized tap isn't right for our kitchen, but it might be right for yours.
Okay. You were literally, Jack was, you love this, Patsy, he's literally been drilling the producers going, who deserves it the most? Like we're giving away $10,000. And I went, let's not worry about it too much because it's a tap. It's a tap. He even said, can you get some winners music ready? All I can find is this, which is what we play when we give someone the $4 million home for their RMH home lottery.
This will do perfectly.
It will. Okay, right. Okay. The drama, the suspense. Who will win the oversized tap? Let's find out. Ash, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Jack, Christian. Yeah, I'm after an oversized tap because I've got an oversized size sink. I'm doing renovations on it at the moment, and my tap at the moment is just too short, and by the time the water hits the bottom of my oversized sink, it's pretty much a dribble. I've also got another kitchen that I'm renovating as well, so 2 kitchens in the house, and what could more be better than having a giant-sized tap in a giant-sized sink in a giant-sized kitchen?
Two kitchens.
2 kitchens.
Who has
and
a need for
pantry.
2 and a butler's pantry? Who
Yeah,
needs
well-
all of this?
Well, not me, but I'm sure someone will when I go to sell the house. But yeah, Moyton Peninsula, there's a lot of houses have 2 kitchens for some reason.
Oh, must be
Wow.
nice. Ash.
I'm trying to think,
Down on the peninsula.
Even if you had the means, how would you decide what one kitchen is for? If you fall out with the other half, I'm going to my other kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, you'll
that's it.
find
When
me in the East Wing kitchen. Thank you very much.
Oh, the sun's up that side, I'll go to my West Wing one.
That's it. Well, when one gets dirty and you can't be bothered cleaning it up,
You're quite right.
You go to the next one.
Yes, you're quite right, Ash. Amazing scenes. Okay, Ash, it might be you, okay?
I doubt it.
Thanks,
It sounds
guys.
like Ash is doing all right.
He's doing a
for himself.
renovation,
Right,
okay?
about that, you should be at the kitchen.
Yeah. All right, let's try to Karen. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Christian, Jack and Pat. How you going?
We're good, okay.
thanks.
What do you need this giant mega tap for?
Okay, so I actually show bull mastiffs, so they're a really large dog, and my husband's built me a prep house where I wash them, and so it'd be perfect for washing the dogs.
It actually is big enough to wash dogs. This would be perfect.
Well, they're
for
a big
washing dogs.
dog.
They
are a big dog.
It's the sort of thing you could build a car wash for dogs. It's that big.
So, do you have the plumbing and stuff set up? Would this tap really make its house?
Oh, you
home?
really are drilling the listeners. Do you have the infrastructure to be a good home for my tap that cost me $60?
Absolutely,
Plus
I can
delivery.
send you photos of it.
I've never heard you be so thorough about anything we've done this year.
All right, washing the bull mastiffs. That's pretty good. It's
Oh,
the
he
front
likes that
runner.
one. Yeah, he's actually moving through the lines himself. Let's, Karen, stay there. Steve, good morning.
G'day, how you going, team?
Oh, well, this is exciting. We're poised about this big giveaway we're doing right now. Steve, picture to us. Why do you want the tap?
Okay, the story is we breed German Shepherds, and I have a second kitchen, what we affectionately call our puppy kitchen, and we've just put in a commercial stainless type sink that I got second-hand. We prepare all our own food, etc. The tap that's on it's not long enough to get to reach one end of the bench and the sink to the other, so ideally this would suit because we can wash down the bandsaw and everything after we've prepared all their food.
I love this. A puppy kitchen, a little prep kitchen for them. Amazing. What dogs have you got?
German Shepherds.
Great dogs. Awesome dogs.
I can't believe
But
how
these
many
are
people
proper,
in Melbourne.
proper old-style, straight-back German Shepherds.
I got you. Yeah, they got the good hip score?
Absolutely, we can't breed until we get a really good hip score after they're 12
As a shepherd
months
owner,
old.
it's about that hip score, right?
That's right.
You
We've
got
got
it, baby.
zeros and ones.
Yeah.
All right, well, you
Okay,
guys can
sorry.
continue that conversation off air. We got a tap to give away here. Come on.
More hip chap tomorrow on the show in the 6th hour, the home of the shepherd hip chap. Who we got here? Lindy.
Hi, Christian and Jack.
Hello,
Pat, how
Lindy.
you going?
Yeah, good. You sound nice and chipper this morning.
Oh, well, on my way to work from Kilmore to Campbellfield, so nice little drive in the fog this morning.
And Lindy, I guess the question this morning is how many kitchens do you have?
3.
I've only got one kitchen in a 100-year-old Edwardian house, but it would be a beautiful statement piece to be washing those great big Italian saucepans making bolognese.
Wow, just like old Nonna's recipe. Those big old pasta sauces.
Oh, yeah.
Jack.
And
It's
I've got
going to the 100-year-old house. Well done,
You
Lindy.
are a winner.
Oh, fantastic!
After the last
I have
5
a favourite
weeks
son-in-law
of
who's
gold,
going to be
silver
able to
tap.
put it in for me.
Jack could come round and install it once we're out of lockdown.
Oh, I've got a favourite son-in-law to do that.
Oh, he bumped off that project as well. So I've been home.
Fantastic.
Isn't it just? Isn't it really?
I'd love to see a photo of those pastas once they're made.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and then that tap
thank you,
clearing
son.
that big old bowl afterwards.
Congratulations, Lindy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jack.
Well, we're clapping
Thanks, Christian.
Go mad here. All right, thanks, Lindy. Enjoy that tap.
Well, on a brighter note, you're listening to the Christian O'Connell Show podcast.
On this morning's show, Windows and MacGyver. That's it. We've got nothing else for you. We are super excited. All right, the games in Tokyo, I didn't realise, they actually kicked off. Did you know they started yesterday?
No, I thought you couldn't start before the opening ceremony.
It's called the opening ceremony. It's the opening of it. You know, everyone knows it's the opening and then all the events. And then Patsy, listen, the Matildas have already chalked up their first win.
Yeah, against New Zealand 2-1. But it's not unusual for them to do that. They always seem to have these random sort of sports before the opening ceremony.
Soccer is the world's biggest, most popular sport. It's not random. It might be feel like you to you.
That one of those experimental sports they're trying for Tokyo.
You know,
only.
the couple of billion watch the World Cup final of random sports to Patsy. We are super excited about the games in Tokyo. Has already started. Official opening ceremony tomorrow night. It's just some of those minor sports at the moment, the demonstration ones. Football. We are super excited on the show, not just because obviously we're going to be cheering on Team Australia, but because every time Australia wins a gold, one of you is going to win an amazing prize. A golden, and it really is golden, a proper golden, brand new wash machine for our Goldathon. We were lucky yesterday, we were graced by a broadcasting giant, Bruce McAvaney, who said we should get very excited about the gold medal rush.
But I think we'll get between 12 and 16 gold medals. I think we're going to have a good game.
This is amazing. This is great news. So every time Team Australia win gold, you win a golden washing machine. We have one of them in the studio here. This isn't just a cheap wraparound.
They look amazing. Amazing.
It is a statement piece for any home.
Certainly.
So we could be giving away these Bosch washing machines. Well, thanks to Robert Innes, we could be giving away
up to 16. Well, even Bruce is really a humble man, so he's probably downplaying it, if anything. I'm saying 20 or more.
When I pitched this idea to ENS, I said between 8 and 10 max. Anyway, he tried to call me yesterday, Robert Collins. Says maybe he also heard I'm not going to pick up until after it all. So, already there is news. You might have seen the news, by the way. Have you seen they don't want the athletes in the village? They don't want them. Normally, after the events, they all have a big party.
Yep.
I've interviewed quite a few athletes afterwards, and they all, because most of them are single, young, extremely healthy, they want to party and celebrate and
blow off some steam.
Hang out together lying down.
Yeah.
All right? They've made these anti-sex beds.
What? What's an anti-sex bed look like?
Well, I had one years ago when I was a student. It was basically a cheap futon. It took about an hour.
I had one of them in high school.
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly.
Mine did. It was an anti-sex bed. It took about an hour to try and pull it all out. By then, someone's going, do you know what? I'll just see you tomorrow. It's just taking too long. But they've got these beds and they've worked out what the weight is. And if I think it's like it only withstands, is it 150 kilos and it just breaks?
What about the weightlifters? They're big guys.
Oh, I guess some of the marathon runners, they're tiny, aren't they? Could easily fit two of them. Anyway, Jack has got some news from Tokyo.
Sad news. The first disqualification for Australia before the games has even properly started.
Naughty, Team Australia.
Australian equestrian rider. Did we know we were putting Olympians in equestrian?
No,
I've never seen Australia's.
No.
Oh. Australian equestrian rider Jamie Kermond. Is he a good one, Patsy?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say equestrian's been big. Didn't one of the royals got a gold medal? The Queen's granddaughter. Which
Sarah
one is it?
Phillips, yeah.
Yeah, she's
not
won Olympic
Australian.
gold.
No,
she's not. But I'm saying we knew equestrian was in the games.
Oh, sorry.
It's been there for years.
Sorry, I knew equestrian was in the games. I just didn't know we were sending Australian athletes.
I need my eggs.
Either way, Jamie Kermond would have been competing, but he won't be now. The 36-year-old from Victoria has been tested positive for cocaine.
Him and the horse. That's bad, isn't it? Those horses, they are a bit arrogant, especially the dressage ones. I mean, that event looks like someone was on something.
No, the sad thing is the horse is now stranded in Tokyo without it.
What do you mean, just wandering around?
He's in Australia. So he won't even get to Tokyo, and the horse is walking around on the side.
What part of your preparation is doing a couple of lines? Come on, athletes. This isn't on.
I don't think he was a great chance for a medal anyway. He's currently ranked 1,013th in the world standings.
Wow, wait. Also, in the world of softball, Rio, what's happened in Tokyo?
In the softball we lost. In the softball we lost to Japan by the mercy rule because they were ahead by so many runs that you just call the game off.
What do you mean the mercy rule? I've never heard of such thing. Does the losing team have to go mercy? What an awful moment for Team Australia. What's the mercy rule?
So if you lead by...
It feels like a thing an older brother would create while he's pinning you down. Only with the mercy rule will I release you.
If you lead by 7 runs, they just call the game off. Rather than playing the full 7 innings, they're just like, that's enough.
That is embarrassing.
Awful. You've trained for years. And you've got to ring home and say, how do you get on? Mercy rule.
We had a mercy rule applied to us in junior basketball. We were losing 110-0. But the mercy rule wasn't abort the game. It was they can't play full court defense anymore. They have to play a zone defense.
I've never heard of such thing. Not a great opening day yesterday for Team Australia in Tokyo. All right, all kicks off. Tomorrow is the opening ceremony. You can catch it on Channel 7. 12 minutes past 7 on Gold.
The Christian O'Connell Show podcast.
The mercy rule. Never heard of it.
It's so sad for Australia to bow out like that.
Losses are hard to take, aren't they, sometimes, right? How you come back from them. But the mercy rule. And you've trained for this for years. You know, is it 5 years, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
2016 was the last
years.
games.
Oh, what, are you back at the airport today or tomorrow? You know, and ringing home to parents. So, and you know about this mercy rule then?
So while we had one in junior basketball, so for the Australian softball team, it was as soon as they were losing by 7 runs to Japan, they call off the match because they can't come back and they go, mercy rule, game's over. Ours was... You're down by more than 100 points, so
100. Yeah. Now there are certain sports where cricket you can get that's normal. Okay, you can come back from that. The sport you're talking about, that's unusual. Not even Michael Jordan could have helped the Chicago Bulls recover a 100-point cricket score.
So the other team was told.
Who
that
were you
they
playing
can't...
against? The Harlem Globetrotters.
Essentially, these guys were so good.
Oh, come on, yeah.
They were the Harlem Globetrotters.
I'm sure Team Australia right now, they're talking about Team Japan in the softball. They were so
under
good.
14s.
They had a couple of ringers. There's no way they were 14. Do you remember we used to play another team? You go, some of them were not 14, sir. Some of them had beards.
They were dunking under 14.
You know the rules.
So the ref told them that they couldn't defend essentially anymore.
Oh, no.
The Christian O'Connell Show podcast.
The other day, we were doing 3 Topic Tuesday and tried something out just by, rather than setting something up with lots of words, I just reduced it down to one word, and that was doors. Have you got a story about anything to do with a door? Turns out you did.
My older brother was teaching me how to ride his trail bike, so I was about 12 at the time, and come across the backyard, gave it a bit too much throttle, come up the back steps and smashed through the back door into the kitchen.
Went and bought myself a clapped-out sports car, drove the car around to Dad's garage to take him home. We're going round a roundabout, and the door opened, and Dad fell out of the car.
Me and my brother used to have epic arguments and fights and stuff that usually ended up with one or the other of us chasing each other up the hallway and then hiding in the other one's room and then shutting the door so the other one couldn't get him. So we just decided we'd run through the door and rip the door off the hinges like a big hip and shoulder.
What?
So after about the 8th door that Mum and Dad had to replace, they decided that we weren't allowed to have any doors on our bedrooms anymore.
I'm with them. Let's stop that one about charging through the doors. There were so many great stories. The Irish guy called in about his dad falling out the car door as well. I remember I was lucky enough years ago to be interviewing Mr. T, and he was telling me a story off air, and I went, wait, you're going to have to tell me again, and everyone listening in a minute, how he was, for a while, for 2 years, he was Prince's bodyguard.
Right. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't know this. Don't tell me the rest of it now. So you go on there and go, how did you get the job? He said, Prince was watching TV one night. There used to be a TV show, only he said in the early 80s, only ran for one season. And it was a early sort of reality show, I guess, to find the next bodyguard for America.
Yeah.
Mr. T won it. Prince was watching. I went, whoever that is, the winner, hire him. He's now going to be my bodyguard. And it was Mr. T. And I said to Mr. T, what happened? How did the bodyguards, how do you get crowned America's next top bodyguard? And he said the final event was they had to run through a house, smashing through 8 doors as quickly as possible because that's what bodyguards do. And that's how he got the gig.
Great show. I would actually love to watch
They need to bring that back. All right, so we had the one-word phoner, essentially. The one-word phone-in of simply doors, which means we want to try it again.
Christian O'Connell's one-word phone-in.
Can we make this a new thing on the show then? The one-word phone-in, nothing more than one word. Doors worked. Let's try this morning, windows. Now, my team, as always, here to support me in our mission every morning, have given me a handy list just to nudge your mind, because you're going, windows. So it's not a door. That's solid. Handle.
It does open like a door, but it's not a door.
Got anything else he can nudge you with? Maybe these words might nudge you into a story about a window. Awnings, bifold, bay, arch, skylight, and then the last coming in, they just start randomly listing rooms in the house: kitchen, bedroom, lounge. Those. All right. 94141043 windows. What have you got? Jackie boy, windows.
I've got one I can add to that, the car window.
Of course.
Because actually I forgot to tell you this. On our recent holiday, 2-week break, Bianca and I had to hire a generator from Kennards. We didn't realise how big these things were.
What are you up to?
You know, we went to this off-grid...
Not to power the toys, because I know you went off-grid. Is it to power all the toys?
Off-grid. What's the toy?
You know, like a pump-up bed or something.
Don't ask.
for the off-grid property, and we borrowed Mum and Dad's car to fit in the back, and the guy even had to take the handle off at Kennards off the generator.
To close the boot?
To fit it all in, because it was so big, it just fit in. Then I'm feeling already sheepish around the guys at Kennards because he's done all the heavy lifting and there's all the machinery around and the plant hire equipment. So I want to get out of there as quickly as possible.
It's an intimidating space to be, I find that. I get quite intimidated by what I call super manly men.
Yeah.
They've just got like calluses on their hands and like carrying stuff and doing real work.
The best you can do is wait for them to do something that's a good idea and go, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
good idea, take the hand off.
You're on the bench while they're playing, basically.
So I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. I drive out of onto Bridge Road, out of the driveway of Kennards, and a gunshot essentially goes off. The back window smashes. The generator has rolled backwards.
I've gone through the window, like the edge of it.
Gone through the back window. So there's glass everywhere.
Did they hear that? Did the guys at the Kennards?
They come out with to see what happened.
No, I actually just driven off. I wanted the shame. Mercy roll! Mercy roll! I'm out. Oh, the shame, the deep shame. You just want the ground to swallow you up, don't you?
They helped me clean up all the glass, and
then
the expense of on a Saturday getting somebody to come out and replace your rear window.
Oh dear. All right, so windows. What have you got for us? Don't forget windows. You say awnings. And of course, bifold, bay, arch, skylight, kitchen, bedroom, lounge.
The Christian O'Connell Show podcast. Christian O'Connell's one-word phone-in.
Windows. What stories have you got for us about windows? 94141043. Christine Jones-Hart. Ran to my next-door neighbour's house in the 80s in cheapo flat lace-up shoes. It had been raining. I slipped on their front porch. Put both hands up in front of me as I slipped. Left hand went through the glass window. I was running to tell my friend there were boys outside. Katie Rutherford. I was heavily pregnant and at a wedding about to drop. Baby was due the day after the wedding. I went to the bathroom. Guests were circling a TV in the main area, watching pictures of the bride and groom. So as not to walk in front of the screen, a second time I decided to go out the other glass door. I grabbed a bruschetta from a waiter, went to walk in through the glass door, except it wasn't a door. My belly and my face went full force into the window. It wasn't a door, along with the bruschetta. Ow. As a teenager, I slept in our caravan in the backyard for a year. That's such a teenager move, isn't it? I'm going to live in the caravan in the garden. One morning, my parents were out shopping. I was locked out of the house. My brother was home. He couldn't be bothered to let me in their house, typical older brother, so I just got up and smashed a window. He was terrified. No stitches needed. All right, let's go to lines then. Windows, 94141043. Justin.
Morning, Christian. How you going?
I'm good, Justin, and I hope you're going well as well. Justin, what's your story?
I'm going well, thank you. My one-word window story involves Steven Seagal. When we were younger, my cousin and myself used to distinctly try and fight like Steven Seagal from the Under Siege movies.
Great movies,
and
Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Nico.
And then one day he got a little bit too excited, and he picked me up and pushed me through the front window, threw me through the front window.
Oh. He went full Seagal. He went
full Seagal. Full Seagal. So he always had me covered by at least a foot. He was a bit bigger than me, and straight through the front window, which is a floor-to-ceiling window.
So Step Brothers. Imagine taking your dog for a walk and you see a younger brother propelled through a window at like 11 a.m.
It's safe to say I wasn't worried about being injured. The first thing I thought of was, oh my God, my dad is going to kill me.
It's always that phrase, isn't it? Dad's going to kill you. It's always that.
Safe to say he almost did.
Okay. Justin, thank you very much for your call.
No worries.
Brian, good morning.
G'day, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, Brian. What's your story for us, buddy?
Yeah, I broke a sliding glass window with a frozen potato.
Okay, I think we're going to need a bit more detail.
Okay, when I was 8 years old, my sisters and I were playing because we were bored during summer break, and we were playing with an evidence potato my dad wrapped in aluminum foil. And we were playing hot potato. But
Hang on a minute, we're going to have to... I hate to interrupt, Brian. An evidence potato. Title of today's show right there. What is it? Why did he have evidence of a potato?
Okay, somebody had used a potato to put over end of a gas pipe so it wouldn't leak. So when the fire took off, the potato fell down, but it was used as evidence. So my dad kept it frozen in a aluminum foil in the freezer, and he said, "Don't touch it."
I bet, but I think police institutions have things called evidence lockers. You know, like, they're not solving major crimes with detectives using their freezers at home. Going to need to take the 7 hands, put it with the peas, and some frozen yogurt and the ice. Go around to any detective's fridge. Sometimes there's bodies in there.